Hello, my name is Jamel Ziu. I'll be presenting on the structured versus unstructured data, a comparative analysis, and basically it's a data science and business intelligence perspective regarding the course I'm currently taking. And we're just looking at the insights on the data. So the key concept overview here, we'll be talking about the structured data, unstructured data, and the analytical approach. Basically, the structured data is we put that into a tabular format like tables, well-defined schema and used for precise query like cell reports. On the unstructured data, it's like a free form text, audio or images, and mostly used for complex analysis like customer feedback. And then also it's used for other complex analysis as I mentioned. And on the analytical approach, we have a quantitative keyword as well as the qualitative keyword. So just depending on the context of analysis regarding the qualitative. And for the quantitative, we have like the sentiment analysis and then the frequency. So here we're going to talk about the definition and the characteristic. What is basically like a structured data and an unstructured data? So a structured data basically it's an organized type of data in row or columns, to be exact, in a table, and it's stored in like relational database such as like MySQL, and we can also search that with like SQL. SQL basically is like a structured query language. An example would be customer report, like such as name, age, purchase amount, and then it's easily straightforward research. You can actually search that easily in a database, and it's pretty much straightforward. On the other hand, unstructured data, it's not predefined schema, has no predefined schema. It includes text, audio, videos, images, or web logs. And we store that in a NoSQL database like MongoDB. An example of it would be like customer review support call audio, and 80% of the enterprise data is unstructured basically for the most part. Like, you look at it in Twitter's, something like that. So when do we actually use each type? Well, on the structured data case, we use that when we need precise queries, and analytics like, financial reports, inventory management. And on the unstructured data case, we use that when it comes to in text, audio, video formats, and analyzing like sentiments from tweets, or support like calls. Like, if like we have like conversation in Twitter, you can use that for the analysis to just gauge, how people are having an idea. So that's actually how unstructured data works. And on healthcare example, you can look at it in the lab results for the unstructured data. For the structured data, you look at like the lab results and the doctor like review for the unstructured and medical like imaging. So how do we analyze unstructured data? Well, we extract the data first by collecting like the raw unstructured content from various sources. Then we process the content using LNP, which is the natural language processing algorithm, to measure the sentiments of the topic. So, using those texts to kind of like just gauge how the sentiment is. And then once that's done, we generate insights by identifying the key themes through quantitative or qualitative analysis. An example, text mining enables like the conversation of unstructured data to get insights. So the type of data in research, here we have like, the research content like clinical trials, On the structure example will be like patient ID, the age, dosage, and response. On the unstructured example will be like the physician notes, the symptom description. Like another example, like in the market research, customer demographic, purchase history. On the unstructured example, we have focus group, transcription, and then media post. And for the academic studies, we have surveys for the structured example and open-ended interview for like unstructured example. So how do we unlock the data insights? Well, by converting, unstructured to structured. So we use tokenization, which is basically, splitting the text into individual words or token for analysis. Then once that's done, then we name the entity recognition by extracting the specific entities like names, location, or medical conditions. Then we, proceed with like the sentiment analysis, which is basically classifying the text as positive or negative or neutral. So if like, in the text or the message through Twitter, we have like, we gauge more positive insights, then we can, gauge that the conversation has been positive, and then we can, deduce from there. And then once that's done, then we can, structure the output, which transform the result into organized table from the analysis. And that concludes actually our presentation on how to unlock the power of your data, because without data, everybody has an opinion until data is presented. So that's the nut in a nutshell, the reason why data is really important, in any analytical field. So use your data to, conduct your analysis, because it can be traceable, and even though we make mistakes, but you can still, trace back and then fix that. Thank you for the time and for watching the presentation. Thank you. Bye bye.